new parliament to convene at 9:30 a.m. on the 20th of August. President issues an extraordinary gazette. UNP Working Committee meets to decide the National List MP. Several cabinet and state ministers assume duties today. Claims that Senator Kamala Harris may not be eligible to run for office should be looked at, says US President Donald Trump. Hello there, very good afternoon. You're watching Lunchtime News on Election First. Those were the headlines, now news in detail. A few cabinet and state ministers assume duties today as well.
Minister of Transport Gamini Lokuge assumed duties at the Ministry of Transport in Battaramulla today.
I will make this a ministry that will fulfill the people's requirements. I will take steps to continue all good programs initiated by the previous minister.
Minister of Wildlife and Forest Conservation of the new government, C.B. Ratnayaka, assumed duties this morning. Minister of Ports and Shipping, Rohita Begunawardena, assumed duties this morning.
We are expecting to work as a ministry that will contribute to the economy of the country.
Jeevan Thonnaman, State Minister of Estate, Housing and Community Infrastructure, assumed duties today. Sarath Veerasekara, State Minister of Provincial Councils and Local Governments, assumed duties today.
I strongly oppose the 13th Amendment. My appointment as the State Minister of Local Government and Provincial Council Affairs is fate. We would like to say with confidence that we will not navigate changes that will give land and police powers to provincial councils.
The UNP Working Committee convened at the party headquarters of Sirikota this morning.
The Working Committee meeting convened at 10 a.m. today under the auspices of the party leader Ranil Wickremesinghe. Former MPs Vijay Abeyewardena, Ravi Karunanayaka, John Amaratunga, Ruwan Vijayewardena and Palitharange Bandara also joined the meeting. Former MP Ashu Marasinghe expressed his views to the media prior to the meeting.
අද කෘත්‍යාධිකාරී මණ්ඩලයේදී අද තීන්දුවක් ගන්නවද නායකයා මරණ ජාතික ලැයිස්තු මන්ත්‍රීතුරයා ඉතින් අපි බලමු මොකද වෙන්නේ කියලා අදත් කල් මරනවද කොහොමද ඉතින් අපි බලමු අපි පොඩ්ඩක් ඉන්නමු අද අවසාන දවසට කියලා තමයි කියන්නේ නේ එහෙමද අද කෘත්‍යාධිකාරී මණ්ඩලයේ ප්‍රධානතාවක් මේ ප්‍රශ්නේට දැන් මැතිවරණ කොමිසමත් තීරණයක් ගනී නේද ඔබතුමාලා අද නම දුන්නේ නැති වුණොත් මම හිතන්නේ ඒක මැතිවරණ කොමිසමයත් එක්ක අපි සාකච්ඡා කරලා කරගන්න පුළුවන් ඒකේ වහුලක් වෙන්නේ ඒ වගේම කරුජයසූරි මහත්මයා දැන් නායකත්වයට මොකක් හරි පත් වෙන්න වෙනවත් කියලා නෑ එහෙම එකක් දැන් කෘත්‍යාධිකාරී මණ්ඩලේ ගියාට පස්සේ තමයි දැනගන්නේ දැන් කරු
Minister of Tourism Prasanna Ranatunga and State Minister of Aviation and Export Development Zones D.V. Chanaka joined an inspection tour of the Katunayaka International Airport premises.
The two ministers joined a meeting with the upper management of the Bandaranayake International Airport. Thereafter, the ministers expressed their views to the media.
President has the will. Business plans of all organizations under the ministry should be presented to him during the next month. The goal should be achieved based on the plan and the timeline set. The Presidential Task Force will evaluate the progress. We will open the airport based on the guidance from the health authorities.
ගුවන්තොටුපොළ විවෘත කරන්න සූදානමක් විකුණන්න සූදානම් කරපු අමාත්‍යාංශයක් එක පැත්තකින්
This was a ministry which was to be sold, and there was a time where paddy was stored at the airport. Also, they expected to give this to foreign powers. However, the President and the Prime Minister expects to develop these based on our policies. We have been challenged to do so.
අපුරුත්තු වෙන්නේ මේව දියුණු කරන්න. ඒ සඳහා තමයි අපිට අභියෝගේ බාර දීලා තියෙනවා.
President Gotabaya Rajapaksa made a proclamation on summoning the new parliament via an extraordinary gazette today.
Parliament is set to convene at 9:30 am on the 20th of August. The appointment of the Speaker, Deputy Speaker and Deputy Chairman of committees will also take place on the same day. Thereafter, all MPs will present their oaths in Parliament.
The President's Media Division says the government program to provide jobs to 50,000 graduates and 100,000 low-income earners will commence immediately. PMD added that those already with appointment letters to report to the nearest district secretariat office on September 1st. Moving along, former director of the Terrorism Investigation Division, former DIG Nalaka D. Silva said the State Intelligence Service in 2018 had informed the TID to stop the investigation into a person named Mohammed Nilabdin Mohammed Rimzan, who had returned to Sri Lanka after joining ISIS. The former DIG made this statement testifying at the Presidential Commission of Inquiry probing the 2019 April 21st attacks.
He added that former IGP Pujit Jayasundara had instructed in a letter dated 14th March 2018 that a special police team to be deployed to interrogate Rimzan at the airport as he may be deported from Turkey to Sri Lanka in the near future. He further said that when the SIS informed him to stop investigations, he informed the SIS in return to make a written notice in that connection through the IGP. Accordingly, on the 14th of March in 2018, the then IGP Pujit Jayasundara had sent a letter to the TID instructing to stop the ongoing investigations into Rimzan. De Silva also submitted a copy of the letter sent by the IGP to then Secretary to the Ministry of Law and Order Padmasri Jayamanna. Former DIG also said that the TID took steps to forward weekly reports on extremists such as National Tawhid Jamaat leader Zaharan Hashim and Abdul Latif Jamil Mohammed and their activities. He further said that in addition to the weekly reports submitted to the IGP by the TID, reports into certain investigations carried out by the TID under the instructions of the IGP were also submitted to the IGP on the relevant day. He also submitted copies of several such reports exchanged between then IGP and the TID to the Presidential Commission.
The total number of confirmed COVID-19 cases in Sri Lanka has risen to 2,882.
According to the Ministry of Health, another case of COVID-19 was confirmed yesterday, returning from the United Arab Emirates, who was undergoing quarantine. Ministry of Health further stated that the COVID-19 positive patient was quarantined inside the 59 Division Training School, which is a quarantine center. There are 225 active COVID-19 patients receiving treatment. The total number of recoveries stand at 2,646.
2 people were severely injured in an accident that took place in Bandaragama.
The accident took place last evening at the Vidagama junction in Bandaragama. The accident occurred when a jeep travelling from Vidagama collided with a motorbike when attempting to turn towards Bandaragama. The duo who was travelling in the motorbike sustained severe injuries. The 19 and 21-year-old injured residents from Millania were initially admitted to the Bandaragama base hospital and thereafter transferred to the National Hospital in Colombo. Driver of the jeep was arrested and later was released on bail. Bandaragama police are conducting further investigations into the incident.
Today marks the 74th Independence Day of Pakistan. A ceremony to commemorate this occasion was held today.
The ceremony was held at the Pakistan High Commission office in Sri Lanka. The event was held under the auspices of Acting High Commissioner of Pakistan, Tanveer Ahmed. The Independence Day message of the President and the Prime Minister of Pakistan were also read out at the event.
In international news, US President Donald Trump said he would have to look into claims that Senator Kamala Harris may not be eligible to run for office after Newsweek published an opinion article questioning her citizenship. Harris was born to a Jamaican father and Indian mother in Oakland, California on 20th October 1964. But a conservative law professor has questioned her eligibility.
So I just heard that. I heard it today that she doesn't meet the requirements. And by the way, the lawyer that wrote that piece is a very highly qualified, very talented lawyer. I have no idea if that's right. I would have assumed the Democrats would have checked that out before she gets chosen to run for vice president. But that's a very serious. You're saying that about it. I'll take a look.
For years, President Trump promoted a false birther theory that President Barack Obama was not born in the U.S. Meanwhile, the campaign of Democratic presidential contender Joe Biden has raised $48 million in the 48 hours since he named U.S. Senator Kamala Harris the Democratic vice presidential nominee. Commenting on the matter, Harris' chief of staff and senior advisor, Sri Lankan American Rohini Kusoglu, said this week's nomination of Democratic Senator Kamala Harris as U.S. presidential candidate, Joe Biden's running mate, is a historic moment. In another first, Kusoglu was first appointed Harris's chief of staff in 2018, becoming the only American Asian woman to serve as a U.S. senator's chief of staff. Harris, who was picked as Biden's vice president nominee on Tuesday, is the first woman of color in the United States to be named as a vice president nominee by a major party. Kusoglu tweeted, "This is a historic moment, proud to share it with so many." 84 days. Kusoglu's parents, Dr. Vijaya Devendran Ravindran and Shobana Ravindran, hail from Jaffna and immigrated to the United States in the early 1980s. She is a resident fellow at the Institute of Politics at Harvard Kennedy School. She graduated from the University of Michigan and George Washington University and was first introduced to national politics as a mailroom manager while working for Michigan Senator Debbie Stabenow. Kusoglu worked her way up as a senior policy advisor after graduating in Senator Stabenow's office. She then moved to Colorado Senator Michael Bennett's office as his senior healthcare advisor. Meanwhile, the Congress was considering Obamacare or Affordable Care Act. After 7 years in Bennett's office, Kusoglu got an offer from Harris, then a senator-elect, to work as a deputy chief of staff. Finally, in sports news, the second day's play of the second test between Pakistan and England is set to be played in Southampton today. At the close of play, Pakistan were 126 for 5, batting in their first innings. After winning the toss, skipper of Pakistan Azhar Ali elected to bat first. Accordingly, centurion in the first match Shan Mashood and Abid Ali opened the batting. However, the opening partnership was limited for only 6 runs when a James Anderson indipper trapped Mashood in front.
Anderson, it was Fuller, it pitched in line, it swung back, and too good for Shan Massoud, who is not hanging around.
I think that will be leg by Zorzit off the bat.
Skipper of Pakistan Azhar Ali only managed to score 20.
Now Zach Carrier has no mistake from the slip cordon on this.
Abid Ali, after presenting many opportunities for England to claim his wicket, scored 60 runs. Ashad Shafiq's short stay was only limited to 5 runs.
Circumstances, tough conditions with the ball swinging and a bit of movement off the...
Fawad Alam, the son of former Pakistan player Intikhab Alam, who got the chance to play a test match after 11 years, did not bother the scorers. Batting at the crease at the close of play were Babar Azam on 25, while wicket-keeper batsman Mohammad Rizwan was on 4. For England, James Anderson took 2 for 35, while Stuart Broad, Sam Curran and Chris Woakes claimed the wicket each. From that, we bring to a close this edition of Lunchtime News on Election First. For details of the stories and much more, simply log on to our website, www.newsfirst.lk. For the News First team, I'm Martin Satyanesan, along with producer Senator Sena Naika. Have yourself a wonderful day.